Welcome to the Film Fan Club Show, Phase 2, Episode 1, for June 15th, 2016. Today, we talk about the weekend box office, Star Wars, superheroes, and more. Coming up in just a second. Sit back, relax. The Film Fan Club Show starts right now. Hey guys, welcome back to the Film Fan Club Show. It's Phase 2, finally! I know, it's been a whole month and a couple days since we've done a last episode of the Film Fan Club Show. It's a podcast now. My name's Sam Carrico, and for the first time, I'm joined by Cade Thomas. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. It's been a while since I've done anything like this, so I hope I'm not too rusty. So this is your first time, though, so how are you feeling coming in?
I feel good.
How's your summer been so far? It's been kind of a hefty summer for superhero movies. Started off quickly with Batman vs. Superman up through some of the recent May releases. So what have you been seeing at the movies lately that's got you excited?
A lot of the superhero movies I feel like have been pretty good and everything. I really thought Popstar was a really good movie.
I didn't see that. So what exactly is Popstar again?
It was a mockumentary starring Andy Samberg and like the Lonely Island people, and it was like supposed to be making fun of pop music and stardom in general. Yeah,
kind of like one of those like Justin Bieber Never Say Never documentary kind of things.
And like that. And it had Tim Meadows and one of the Sarah Silverstone
from Lonely Island.
Yeah, and then all the two other Lonely Island people are also in that.
So it was funny, right?
Oh, yeah.
What would you give it out of 10? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, I thought it was a solid, I would say 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But
that's one of those movies that completely flew under my radar because it came out, I was like, okay, yeah, Andy Samberg, whatever. And then it hits the theaters, and all these reviews are coming out saying, like, actually, this is one of the best comedies in years. And I'm like, holy crap.
That was probably the most shocking thing, was that it was how great it was. And I thought, from the trailers, I knew it was going to be good.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people were kind of hesitant about it, and the trailers were everywhere. They were on television, like they were on like before every YouTube video.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And so but it didn't do too well in the box office, and so I don't know. I was hoping that this would be a way for like Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island to be able to do more movies and stuff, but I don't know. It doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top 10 at the box office for the past weekend. It doesn't look like it's in the top 10, so I don't...
It's number 13.
Number 13. Okay. Wow, see, someone did their homework.
Yeah. It had a budget of $20 million, but it only made a total of $8.3
so far?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that sucks. Man, yeah, that's one of those movies, like... The Nice Guys. Did you see The Nice Guys?
I didn't see The Nice Guys, but I love Shane Black, and I've wanted to see it, but
See, that's the thing. Everyone tells me Shane Black is so good, and I hadn't seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
So my only exposure to Shane Black was Iron Man 3, and personally, I hate Iron Man 3. Yeah. I don't like what they did to the Mandarin. I don't like any of the white... I mean, they did something different to make it not necessarily whitewashing, but it was still kind of whitewashing. Yeah. And so whenever they say Shane Black's this amazing director and he has all these great ideas, I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And then I see The Nice Guys and I'm like, holy crap, this movie's amazing. And it's one of those, I did my review and it was like 2 or 3 weeks after it had already come out, and I was like, dang, I wish I would have gotten on that quicker because it was such a good film. So yeah, so what else have you been seeing?
Neighbors 2.
I didn't see that one either.
I'll bring that up. Well, let me just start up by saying Neighbors, to me, was one of the best comedies in the modern era.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even think of a comedy from the past 10 years I thought that was as funny or as Neighbors was. Because I thought that it was also very, introspective, and it had such an awareness that I don't think a lot of comedies do, and it was very deep. It had a lot of like emotional things going on, and I thought the great thing was the characters in it were just amazing, and like Zac Efron's character in it was just, I thought he did an amazing job, and it kind of proved, I think, that he was actually a really good actor, and he did such a great job. And then the wife's character, Rose
Byrne,
yeah, she did. I thought her character was amazing in the first one.
People have said that she works best in comedy, in comedies, because she tries to go around and do stuff like X-Men Apocalypse, and some people have criticized her role in that, thought she was a little bit cheesy and kind of playing like, dress up Indiana Jones, but so I heard that she was very good in Neighbors 1 and 2.
And 2, like, they seem to, because like the Neighbors 1, Seth Rogen he was the star, but his character wasn't the best. He didn't get the most screen time. He didn't even get the most laughs, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Neighbors 2, Seth Rogen was like a writer on it, and he didn't. It seemed like to me that he had such a more prominent role in Neighbors 2 that I was kind of like, I don't know. That wasn't the best part of the first Neighbors, in my opinion. I liked what they did with him, but like he wasn't the main star. And I think they still did good with Zac Efron in Neighbors 2. He was probably the standout performance, but they did not do good with Rose Byrne at all.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think that her character didn't even really do anything in that movie.
Did Chloe Grace Moretz have a good storyline?
I thought she did.
Because this is kind of her first. I don't know if she's done a lot of these kind of raunchy comedies where she's breaking out of the teen idea that people have built up for her.
And it was a real good, I think, political statement, and they really did a good job. This one, like the last Neighbors, kind of combined that raunchy humor with such a human, like societal, like look at the world and how aging is and growing up, and it did some really interesting things with that. And this one was trying to do the same thing with showing how sororities and all that, and how the problems there and sexism in the world.
Yeah, like how you look at a frat boy versus how you look at a sorority girl.
And this one seemed to be, like, what was so great about the first Neighbors was that it was kind of under the surface, and it didn't have to, like, throw it in your face. This is what you're supposed to learn, this is what you're supposed to think. And I felt like this one was kind of, like, too blatant. And to me, even though it had, like, a bigger budget, it seemed like it was cheaper. Like,
really?
Yeah.
And you never want that with a sequel.
It just kind of felt like, that seems a little bit, I don't know, they did a lot more. The soundtrack for the first Neighbors was good. I couldn't tell you any song that was in the second Neighbors.
I worked as a theater usher until like a couple weeks ago, and then whenever I was cleaning out the theaters waiting for Neighbors 2 to be over, the soundtrack that played during the credits, I wasn't a fan myself. They had like Partying in My Pants or some crap like that, and I was like, I'll just get it over with. So I wasn't really looking at. Neighbors 2 looked like it had some pretty good laughs, but it didn't look like it. Like it had the same kind of spark that Neighbors 1 might have had. So what would you give Neighbors 2 out of 10?
Well, I think it's important to note that Neighbors 2 was one of like the best comedy sequels. I think
because that's hard to do.
Yeah, it is hard to do, and I think I was saying a lot of negatives, but I think it had a lot of positives, and it was one of the best sequels. That comedy sequels that there ever was, and so I would give it maybe a 7 out of 10. Yeah,
it's not bad. That's a respectable score.
Yeah,
so you still recommend that someone should go see it.
Yeah, and I'd give the first Neighbors 9 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
it's really up there. 9, maybe 9.5. It was really, to me, a really amazing movie.
I'll have to check that one out. And yeah, because that's what Neighbors 2 really did. Is made me really kind of want to just have to I still need to get on watching the first one. It looks so funny, and then. The second one looks like it's got some laughs too, especially that guy when that guy's wearing the clown makeup and he's like, dude, you look freaking terrifying. And he laughs. Oh, it looks so funny.
You stop that right now.
Yeah, you stop that right now. So moving on to our first, I guess, official topic, we're talking about the weekend box office from the 10th through the 12th. Lots of new movies came out: The Conjuring 2, Warcraft, Now You See Me 2, some sequels, and a video game adaptation. Now. As far as the top 5, The Conjuring 2 came out at number 1 with 40 million. Warcraft came out at number 2 with 24 million. I'm just reading off the first name. I'm not getting into the thousands and hundreds and crap. Now You See Me 2 at number 3 with 22 million. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 with 14 million. And rounding out the top 5 at number 5 is X-Men Apocalypse with 9 million, bringing its total to 136 million. So, Cade, I'm going to ask you first. You look at the box office numbers, what jumps out to you about the top 10, top 5, top 15?
Well, I think what's crazy, there's a few weird ones. I mean, I think it's obvious. I think you have to point out that, like, all of these pretty much are either adaptations or sequels.
That's true. Yeah, even with Me Before You, I believe that's a book.
Yeah, and so, like, everything, there's no original idea on there.
Yeah.
So, but I think it also shows how now I don't necessarily agree all the time with critics. There's some differences I have here and there
sure.
but I think Rotten Tomatoes does for the most part get it right. But I think there are some issues. But I think it's important to note that like 7 of them are rotten.
7 of the top 10 are rotten?
Yeah.
Wow, I actually didn't take the time to notice that.
Yeah.
Which ones are not rotten?
Conjuring 2 is certified fresh with 76. I don't really know how they got certified, but yes, it is certified.
I've heard some good things about it. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
and I think it would be a good movie. And then the bottom 2.
Okay, yeah.
Captain America and Jungle Book.
That sucks. Yeah, I love Captain America and I love Jungle Book, and Conjuring 2 I've heard good things about. I didn't like the first Now You See Me, so I don't really have any
I agree.
like I'm gonna go see it eventually, probably to review it for the channel, but I don't see myself enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Warcraft was a pretty big surprise to me, though. I gotta say, my review is also, it's up on the YouTube channel right now, and I gave it like 6.5 out of 10. You know, that's
really?
it's like, you know, not quite up there to I think a 7 out of 10 is whenever it was when you start to get into the certified fresh like areas, and so it was barely not enough to get there, but it had enough. It was kind of generic, you know, fantasy action dragon. I don't think it was a dragon, but wizards and stuff, but it was all executed well enough that I thought, okay, you laid out a pretty good groundwork for a franchise here. I'm invested in some of the characters. It took enough ballsy, different moves from what I expected that I'll see another one of these. So, were you excited to see Warcraft? Or
no, I'm not seeing Warcraft. Let's be clear. It just looks terrible, and I don't think there's really a chance for it to become a franchise.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like a direct to DVD, you know.
Yeah,
terrible.
Now to be fair though, it has made already, I think, nearly $100 million in China.
Yeah,
so
that's the impressive thing.
That's very important because I guess it's one of those things people always say. Some of these big blockbuster action movies that don't really take a lot of context or political overtones or certain themes that may not be accessible to everyone. Just something that's like orcs fighting humans that is accessible to everyone. So I guess it really took a big
something so much a part of the human experience, fighting orcs.
Exactly,
and we can all relate to it.
Yeah, we can, of course. So and as far as the other ones, I'm looking at more. X-Men Apocalypse it has $136 million on a $178 million budget. I bet it'll make its money back. I don't know how many weeks it's been out. It's been out since May 27th, so less than a month, about 3 or 4 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So I mean, I think it's probably gonna have a pretty good run. I don't know. Did you see X-Men? No, you didn't see X-Men.
I didn't see X-Men Apocalypse. I'm not a big fan of the X-Men franchise.
They're really hit or miss, I've noticed.
Yeah, and like, to tell you the truth, I've really only seen the ones that are bad or borderline, and so like I haven't, like, I've seen Last Stand. I didn't see either of the first 2 X-Men.
See, that's the thing. The first 2 X-Men are among my favorites.
Yeah, and like, so many people love them, and I think that for that part, I blame myself for never, you know, watching them, and so. But I just never.
But I can't blame you there. You never seen anything that's gotten you excited for it. So if that's
and then I watched Wolverine Origins.
Bad one.
X-Men Origins, Wolverine, whatever it's called.
I'm not really a fan of either of the 2 Wolverine movies.
I didn't care for the Wolverine. I saw the other one.
We'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, they haven't really impressed me as far as the Wolverine standalones yet. But yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, I feel like the bad word of mouth is just spreading. Everyone's starting to kind of realize that this is not the best movie. So maybe we can go see Captain America: Civil War again, or Jungle Book again, or even, you know, Warcraft or Conjuring or something.
Do you think there's going to be a third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
It's one of the things, I genuinely do not care either way. I bet that there probably will be, because they seem to, well, I don't know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't think it's made as much money as the last one did so far. I think it was made had more money put into it as far as the budget, and then it's made less money than the first one, so that's not the type of returns you want to see on a sequel.
They were like acting like that they knew what the fans had problems with the first film, and like, so the trailers were like, okay, and then like, so I don't think anyone's been really excited about it. But
first one, I didn't really. I heard it was the best review I've heard of the first one was it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That's pretty, not the best review.
I mean, like, they added Bebop and Rocksteady, and like, that was supposed to be a big thing that fans wanted.
Those are fan favorites, right?
And like, apparently the trailers got them right, but I guess I haven't really heard any positive things about the sequel once it actually came out.
And I've heard some reviews from people who, like I said, liked the first, or appreciated the first one at least, and thought this isn't as bad as I expected it to be. And they were some of the people that came out and said that the sequel, Out of the Shadows, wasn't as good as they wanted. So that's kind of upsetting, because you want, again, the sequel to be better, be an improvement over the first one. But
And Now You See Me, I want to just briefly talk about that. I'm probably going to see the second one at some point. I saw the first one twice in theaters, which was 2 more times than it deserved. It was a terrible movie, and a lot of people liked it. And that was really what bothered me a little bit, is that it was so well liked by a lot of people.
Well,
and
it's magic, you don't get a lot of movies where you get to go and have that fun, magic,
That's like all CGI magic.
Yeah. And the thing I didn't like about the film was that maybe it tries to explain away some of the stuff that happens, and it shows...
There's 2 major things that I had issues with. The one was, I thought that the horsemen were actually pretty interesting characters. And I don't know, just they were interesting to watch. There wasn't probably much to the characters, but it was Woody Harrelson in it, and I love Woody Harrelson, and so any time a movie has Woody Harrelson in it, you better use Woody Harrelson right. And, like, halfway through the movie, they switch protagonists, and they start focusing on Mark Ruffalo as this FBI agent or something, whatever he is, some agent. And it was like... I don't know, I didn't care about Mark Ruffalo in this movie. All he was just being frustrated that he couldn't catch these horsemen. And then, the second thing, and this is a spoiler alert for it.
For the movie from 3 years ago, yeah.
The twist made no sense.
It did, yeah, I agree. I remember
and that was
one of those
frustrating, to say the least.
Where it's like, again, with the magic, that you watch those magic tricks, quote-unquote tricks, and it's like, the bullshit. There's no way that you could have done that. And again, with the Mark Ruffalo thing, it's like, bullshit. There's no way that makes sense. You're just trying to sound smart.
Who was he acting for?
Yeah,
who
for
was
real.
He, there was no one there. What was he blaming the girl that, the one he was, paired with, that was from Interpol? He was blaming her, on the bridge, you are the one, you're the one helping them. And why would he go angry? He really liked her, and he jeopardized all that just to blame her? That made no sense.
For real. So yeah, it's one of those, then you kind of just pointed out why I don't want to see the second one. I mean, it's got Daniel Radcliffe in it, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's Harry Potter playing a magician, that's so fun. And it's like, I'm not a Harry Potter fan that much. I like him, but whatever.
And the way that they explained a lot of their stuff with this was just it was that, what was their tagline, the closer you get, the harder it is to see, or something. It's and the way they explained that not making sense is because you got so close to Mark Ruffalo's character, or it was, all of that was ridiculous.
It was
to
a
me.
little weird, so...
yeah.
Let's move on to some movie news. That was the weekend box office segment for this part of the show, and now we're going to talk about the movie news. First up, we haven't been doing the show since the whole Star Wars Rogue One reshoots have begun to happen. So I'm just gonna pull up an article. I might not read it all, but lots of Rogue One reshoots. There's lots of rumors that have been coming out too. People have been saying that 40% of the film is being reshot. Disney did not like the cut of the film they saw. They thought it didn't feel like a Star Wars film. It just felt like a war film, which is kind of what we wanted. But then which is what I thought they wanted, but I guess they didn't want that, so they're trying to reshoot the film to make it look more like the original trilogy and like The Force Awakens in tone. Some of this is true, some of this isn't. It's really hard for me to tell what is and isn't, so we're just going to kind of take all of this with a grain of salt. And
the reshoots are definitely happening.
Yeah, reshoots are happening, but the reason... And every film goes through reshoots. Captain America Civil War went through reshoots. Fantastic Four also went through reshoots, and so there's both sides of the equation. So, Cade, how do you feel about the reshoots for Rogue One, and what do you believe and what don't you believe?
Well, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I don't really know of people who wouldn't say that, but
Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I like Star Trek too, but Star Wars to me, I don't know. It was, in all honesty, I don't want to get off of Star Trek, but Star Trek probably has a better track record, in all honesty, of bad wins and good wins, and I think Star Wars had 2 good films, really. All the rest of them were meh or bad.
Which ones? The first 2?
Like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
I love Return of the Jedi. That was my favorite for the longest time. You not like the Ewoks?
The Ewoks are the worst.
Hates the Ewoks.
The Ewoks were the first Jar Jar. And they were like the precursor to when you noticed that George Lucas had some serious,
bad ideas.
Yeah,
hey, why don't we make a toy out of it?
No, like this would be a good little teddy bear thing to make.
The Ewoks, I got what he was going for because he was trying to go for like a nature versus technology kind of thing.
Yeah.
It didn't really work in the best sense of the word.
Well, it made it was supposed to be like these little people can like also take upon like big like things, like even the smallest of people and the most people that you really don't expect, they can take on the big things and bring them out. But with sticks and with logs and with just throwing a rock and like the little thing falls, the
it was a little silly.
Over.
Yeah, you could kind of put the Benny Hill theme over the ending, over the Battle of Endor, and it'd be kind of.
Well, and then just also the performances weren't great. Like Harrison Ford was totally phoning it in.
He was ready to be done at that point. But then, I mean, I don't know. Did you like The Force Awakens?
Okay, but yeah, I like The Force Awakens. So I mean, like before I guess there was 3 good ones. So I mean, like it was kind of.
Wait, no. So you like Force Awakens more than Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Easily. I don't think there's a question there that The Force Awakens to me is much better than all the rest of them. I rank it right under Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back's number 1.
Yeah, I love Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back is like one of my favorite films of all time. It's in my top 3. It's
what's
amazing.
Funny is I actually go between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Is my favorite.
Really?
So it's like I'm like because I love it because growing up for like up until I was like 18, it was Return of the Jedi. Then I kind of started rewatching them all for Return of the my quote unquote journey to the Force Awakens. And then I was like, Empire, yeah, that's a really good film. And then, but I never really was a big fan of the original. You know, like it's a great movie, but it's just the first chapter.
Contained like story, and it seems like
I just look at it as the first chapter.
Yeah,
though. It's so weird, which is part of why I was so bothered with we don't need to get into a Force Awakens recap, but. I mean, I just really had lots of problems with the whole rehashing of the Empire and the Death Star in the Force Awakens.
I mean, like that was something that was like, oh, really? We're going to do that again? Like that was like, you know, like it was. I was like on board with everything, and then it was like Star Killer Base, and look how big it is compared to the original Death Star, and it was just like, okay. But yeah. I took it, and I think that like it. I think there are like these patterns in Star Wars that I think is good to bring back. I mean, like even like. Phantom Menace wasn't good, but like also you have to realize like it was also like parallel to the original Star Wars. And so
I think there's this really cool video, regardless of whether you like the prequels or not, but it's like called Poetry. It's like Star Wars poetry. Have you seen it? Where it like
I haven't seen that, but I've heard
it shows like the beat by beat. It's from the originals through the prequels, and then I want someone to make another video like that, where they show the Force Awakens or the new trilogy once it's wrapped up.
And there is supposed to be like George Lucas said, like it rhymes.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's supposed to be like ends and meet, and I think that was good. They brought that forward and did that. But as a fan of Star Wars, I really don't like how Disney is doing standalone movies. That really kind of bothers me.
Well, okay, I'm mixed on it because I'm really looking forward to I guess tying it back into Rogue One. I'm looking forward to Rogue One. Of course, the reshoots kind of worry me a little bit, but the one thing I'm not looking forward to is the Han Solo movie. I don't know why we need to go back and rehash every original element from the first films. So, like, are you you excited for Rogue One, but not Han Solo, or not either, or just?
I on principle, I don't like what I guess they're calling them anthology films.
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird. Like, now that we've made 7 movies, there's going to be these standalone movies that's outside of the trilogies, and of course, Disney was always going to make standalone movies. I mean, when they bought it,
for sure.
And so, like, they wouldn't just be making like these trilogies. But like, it just seems weird that they're outside of the trilogies, and like, so they don't really fit within the rhyming and all that stuff in the
What's
Skywalker
weird to me
family.
is that it is they're releasing it, and I'm looking forward to Rogue One, but they are releasing them during the trilogy, so it's like people are going from watching The Force Awakens, and that's the average moviegoer, and the average moviegoer is going to go from Force Awakens, and they're going to be like, all right, so let's see the next Star Wars movie. Where's Rey? Where's Finn? Where's Poe? Oh wait, what? Who's Jyn Erso, and why are we talking about the Death Star from 40 years ago? You know, like that doesn't really make a lot of sense in terms of continuity, but I don't know. That was but let's. Because I realize we are running out of time a little bit.
Okay.
But let's talk about, for a second, John Williams is returning to score Star Wars Episode 8 and Indiana Jones 5. Now, a lot of us, we were kind of concerned, is the old guy going to come back for, is he just going to set the tone for the new trilogy and then leave, or is he going to come back? And now we know he's returning, so how do you feel about John Williams' return?
I think there's no question John Williams is the greatest film composer of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And he, in all honesty, unlike a lot of people like George Lucas, like Steven Spielberg, I'm going to say it, like Steven Spielberg, have shown their age and have lost, I think, something that made them, so great. John Williams has not lost that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And he still is able to make these brilliant things, and they're still, they're just some of the most beautiful music, I think, ever composed. And so I'm excited. And so I think that's great, and I'm glad that he's coming back for Indiana Jones 5 as well.
It's one of those things, like, duh. You gotta have John Williams back, you know, for it, not only... Now, Rogue One and Han Solo, I'd be okay if they don't get John Williams, because you want him to have a little bit of an individual flair to it, but at the same time, for Episode 8 and Indiana Jones 5, he's been with each episode in each Indiana Jones film since the beginning, so he's got to come back. So I thought that was just fantastic. And then another couple things that we're going to talk about Wolverine 3, but we're getting past that. So Donald Glover, Spider-Man: Homecoming, he's in talks to join in an incoming role. How do you feel? Who's he going to play?
I mean, there's been he was always an idea for Miles Morales, and the character was partially inspired by him. And so everyone's always wanted him, and I liked him from Community and everything. But I really don't think he's going to be playing Miles Morales.
I don't think he is, too, because he's 10 years older, or 15 years older than the guy who's playing Spider-Man.
And so it would be weird for that to happen. I think it's good. And he kind of fits with that comedic tone that I think they're going to try to play and have that.
For sure. Yeah, I could definitely see him, mouthing off to Tom Holland as Spider-Man, the way that they've set it up. And so I can't wait to see who he plays, regardless of who it is. And now, finally, we're going to skip something old. We're going to talk about Finding Nemo, but we've only got 3.5 minutes left. So firstly, let's just talk about something new. What's coming out this weekend? Finding Dory's coming out after 15 years. And then also
15 years?
13, I think 13 years.
Well,
and then yeah, exactly. And then Central Intelligence. We go from awesome anticipated Finding Dory to Central Intelligence. It's a comedy starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
what movie are you going to be seeing this weekend, Cade?
Well, I probably won't see either this weekend. But I will. I'm going to see Finding Dory. Maybe after the hype dies down a little bit from it. But
you don't want to be.
I feel weird going into a Pixar movie.
Well, yeah, I feel you there. You go opening night with a bunch of little kids and everything, and you're there by yourself. And it's I feel you. I've been there in that situation way too many times. So, but yeah. So what do you expect coming out of Finding Dory? Do you expect to like it? Maybe not live up to the hype, or what?
My expectations are really low, to tell you the truth, and I'm kind of lowering them myself because Finding Nemo is my favorite.
You said it's your favorite of the Pixar. Right?
Yeah, it's. I think it's really the funniest, and it's because of Dory, and I think it has some really good things. I don't know how it's going to work. From the trailers have been horrifically bad. I just want to say that.
Not the best marketing campaign.
Yeah, and it's been weird, and they've been weird, there'll be this fast paced thing, and she'd be like, and then it would be this long, and there's some tagline, and it'd be Frank Sinatra singing somewhere beyond the sea, and it was just this is weird. This is not.
I do love that song though. I gotta say, I love that song.
Yeah, but it just seemed weird.
A little overused, and it is weirdly used in the trailer. But
I hope that it's more like some of the other Pixar sequels and not Cars 2 and stuff.
That's what I'm afraid of. Is Cars 2, Monsters University, those ones that come out, and I'm just not a big fan of. And so, I'm hoping that Finding Dory is fantastic. I don't care about Central Intelligence one iota, and
I think the only redeeming thing about Central Intelligence is the fact that one of the writers is Ike Barinholtz, and he
was he from?
He's done different. He was in Neighbors, and he was going to be in Suicide Squad.
Okay,
and he's been in. He was a writer on the Mindy Project, and so I
watched a couple episodes of the Mindy Project. It's pretty good. I Is it on the same network as New Girl? I think so.
Yeah, Fox.
It has that same kind of flair to it.
I think they moved to Hulu or something.
Fox 23 is a great channel, let me tell you about it. They don't pay my check, I promise. So that's it for today. We got 1 minute left. I didn't know there was a 30-minute limit on this thing until just now. So, Cade Thomas, thanks again for coming on the show. Honestly, it was great.
And, thank you for
sure.
having me.
So, where can people find you on? You got a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook?
I have a Twitter. and I have a Facebook, but
Twitter handle.
the Twitter is at the real Cade001 because all of the other ones were taken. Real Cade001 and real Cade. No, I did that. That's a funny little joke.
The real Cade001 is your Twitter.
Yeah, it's meant to be humorous. I think a lot of the satiricalness is lost a little bit, but yeah.
Hey, that's a big world. I'm sure someone out there has the same sense of humor. And for me, you can follow me on the various social media sites at Samuel D. Carrico. Thanks again for watching the Film Fan Club Show, guys. I'm going to be off in Louisville next week, Kentucky. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.